everyone, welcome back to my channel Code with Hafiz. So in our previous videos we finished the registration of user account, and in this video we will create our login form and try to log in using an existing user account to the system. Well guys, this is single page authentication. So for single page authentication we need a package, and that is an official package by the name of Sanctum, Laravel Sanctum. So first of all we have to install it. So let's open a new tab and let's go to laravel.com. In here let's go to the documentation and let's change the version to 7.x because we are working right now on the 7 version of Laravel. So in here let's go to this official packages and click on this Sanctum. So if we scroll down, this is the command to install Sanctum in our project. So let's copy this and open our project in Visual Studio Code and open your terminal and paste the code and press enter. It will take some time guys, you have to wait for it to finish. So guys, our package has been successfully installed. Now the next part is doing some configuration to set up Sanctum in our project. So let's get back to the documentation and let's copy this command also, because we also want to create the service provider of Sanctum in our project. So let's get back to the text editor, paste the command and press enter. Well, the files have been created successfully. Now if we go back to the documentation, now we have to migrate because we want to create the table for the tokens. So paste it and press enter. Guys, some of the tables already exist, so let's run php artisan migrate :fresh. That's okay. Now after this let's get back to the documentation and let's copy this line of code and get back to the text editor, go to app, http and kernel and paste it at the top. And after this, well, let's close our terminal because we don't need it anymore. So let's copy this one also and paste it here. Save the file and close it. Now after that let's get back to the documentation, and if I scroll down, now we have to copy this code in our user model. So let's get back to our text editor and let's go to user model and let's paste our code at the top, and in here let's use our has API tokens, and that's all for the user model. So let's save it and close it. So guys, our setup has been done. Now let's go to routes and api.php, and we have to change this API to Sanctum because we want to check the authentication according to this Sanctum package. And now let's create a route for the login. So in the URL, let's say it should be login and it should go to auth controller, and the method name should be login also. Now let's create this login method. So let's go to http controllers and auth controller. So in here let's press enter, let's say public function login, and we have request coming from the inputs. Well, inside here we don't have to write anything by ourselves. We can copy everything from the documentation. So in here if I scroll down, this is the part issuing API tokens. So let's copy this code from here and paste it here, and the next part is to copy this one. We have hash, request and user. They are already imported, so we don't need to import them again. So let's paste it And that's all for the controller. Now after this we have to work on our user interface, which is the login component. So let's go to resources, JS component, auth and login.vue. Well, in here guys, let's first of all bind our inputs to the Vue objects. So at the bottom, let's first create our objects. So in here, let's say data parenthesis curly brackets and return curly brackets. Let's create a collection of form data. And first of all, we have input of email. And second, we have password. And the third one, which is a setting of Sanctum, we have to describe our device name also, which in our case is browser. Well, this one should be in single quotes. Now let's bind these objects to these inputs. So how can we do that? We can declare a v-model. So form data.email. Now let's copy this from here and paste it for the password also. Well, this one should be password. Well guys, let's create an object for our errors also. So in here let's put a comma and let's create a collection of errors. Now guys, let's declare a click event to this button. So add click and we want to say login. Now let's create this method in our Vue.js methods. So in here first we want to declare methods field and the method name is login, and inside here let's use our Axios dot post, and the endpoint that we want to use is, if we go back to the API, you can see login, but before that we have to use API also. So API/login, and we also want to pass our form data too. So let's say this dot form data and dot, then we have our response. So it should be equal to an anonymous function, and let's leave it empty for now. And in here let's say dot catch, and this one is for errors, which should be equal to another anonymous function, and this time let's say this dot errors, which is this collection. We want to store our incoming errors in this collection. So errors dot response dot data dot errors. Now let's also handle our errors and show them in our input fields. So let's show them after this input field. Let's create a p tag and give the class of text dash danger, and let's say v dash text, which is a Vue.js component, and inside here let's say errors dot email, and we can copy this one from here and paste it for the password also. So this one should be errors dot password. Well guys, let's check it out. So if we go back to the browser and let's go to the project, well first we have to create an account. So let's create an account. Hafizullah at app.com, password should be password. And let's say register. Yeah. Now let's open our inspect elements. And in here let's first type a wrong account. So ali at email.com, and password should be something something. And let's say login. Well guys, we didn't run our yarn run watch. Silly mistake. So let's open a command prompt window and let me zoom it a little bit. Now let's go to cd //wamp 64/www/ Vue, and let's say yarn run watch. Well, our changes have been compiled successfully. Now let's try it again. So let's refresh and let's say ali@gmail.com, and this is some login. Well, it's still not working. Let's hard reload. Check it again. Yeah, this time it works, and our errors are working just fine. It says the provided credentials are incorrect. Well, let's type something which we have in the database. For example, hafizullah@app.com, and password is password. And if I say login, well, we don't get anything. But if we go to the network and click on this login, you can see we are returning this token. And if I show you in our project, you can see in our controller we are returning this token. So our code is working just fine. So now the next part is to work inside of this Axios then. So in here what we want to do is set our token in local storage. So let's say local storage dot set item, and we want to name it token, and this is coming from response.data. And after the login we want to redirect to the dashboard. So let's say this dot $router dot push, and we want to push to the home page. So guys, I think we are finished with the login component. Now the next part is to go to this app.js, and instead of returning this false in our logged in function, let's return something else. Well, let's say return local storage dot get item. Well, we want to get the token from the local storage. So let's say get item and get the token, and that's all. And after this, what we can do is let's open our welcome component, and in here we have to do a lot of things. So first of all, let's scroll down. Well, let's create two objects, one for the current user. Well, before doing this, guys, let's get back to our browser, and now if I refresh, well, it's not working. Oh, we didn't set our token to the local storage. Well, let's log in again with the right credentials, and let's say login. Yeah, you can see it redirected us to our home page. And now if we try to go to login, well, it will prompt us and redirect us back to the home page. So our login is working just fine. Now let's show our user data. So let's get back to our text editor, and let's uncomment this. Well, this one should be a collection, and we also want to get our token. So let's create an object by the name of token. Let's say local storage dot get item, and we want to get the token from the local storage. So the next part is to scroll down, and we want to work on this mounted function. Well, before everything, let's declare our Axios default headers. So in here we can say window dot Axios dot. Well, let's do not do this. Well, I will show you why we want to declare our header. So first of all, let's get our user data. And if you remember, if we go to the api.php, you can see this is the route that we are using for the Sanctum, and it is a /user, which is a get method, and it is returning the user data. So we can use this endpoint to get the logged in user or current user data. So let's get back to our welcome component, and in here let's say axios.get API/user, and let's say .then response, which should be equal to curly brackets, and in here let's say this dot current user should equal to response.data, and after that let's say catch for the errors, which should be equal to curly brackets, and let's show the errors in our console. So console.log and errors. And now let's get back to our browser and open our console, and now let's refresh. Well, you can see it is throwing an error of unauthorized, and that is because we didn't declare the authorization header. So let's get back to the text editor, and now in here we can say window.axios.defaults and .headers.common, and our brackets, let's say authorization, and it should be equal to our tilde marks, and in here let's say bearer and $, curly brackets, and inside here let's load our token that we are getting at the top, which is this one. So in here let's say this dot token. And now if we go back to the browser, refresh, yeah, you see the error has gone. So now we can show our user data in our page. So let's get back to text editor, and if I scroll to the top, well, yeah, let's show it after this h5. So let's put an h4, or let's create a p tag, it doesn't matter. Let's give it a class of text dash center, and in here what we can do is say user or current user dot email. Now if we go back to the browser, refresh, yeah, you can see we are getting the email. Well, now the only thing that is left is to create our logout button, and then we are finished for this video, guys. So let's create a button for our logout. So let's get back to text editor, and at the top what we can do is after this p tag, let's create a button, and let's name it logout, and let's get a class of btn-danger, and let's also assign or declare an click event for this button. So add click, and let's say logout. Now let's create this method in our methods field. So let's scroll down. We can create it after this delete employee. So comma, paste it. And now inside here, well, let's first create the endpoint for this logout. So let's go to api.php, and in here let's say route : post, and let's say logout, and this one should be auth controller at logout, and we also want to declare our middleware. So middleware auth : Sanctum. Well, we are done for the API. Now let's work on our logout method. So in here let's say axios.post, and our endpoint is API/logout, and let's say .then we have response, and it should be equal to curly brackets, and inside here first we want to remove the token from the local storage. So let's say local storage dot remove item, and we want to remove the token, and after that we want to return our redirect. So this dot $router and dot push /log. Well, this one should be inside single quotes. After our then, let's say dot catch for the error. So errors should equal to curly brackets, and let's say console.log errors. Now the only thing that is left is to create this logout method in our auth controller. So let's say public function logout, and well, we have request also coming. So let's say request $request, and inside the method let's say request arrow user and arrow current access tokens, or tokens not token, and parenthesis arrow delete, and after that let's say return response, response parenthesis arrow JSON, and inside here we want to show a message which is equal to logout successful. And I think we are finished with the coding. So let's give it a try. So let's get back to the browser and refresh. Now let's say we want to log out. Yeah, it's working just fine. Now if we want to go to the home page, we can't. Well, we have to log in to visit our home page. So let's say password is password. Login, yeah, it's working just fine. Well guys, this was everything about a single page authentication using Laravel and Vue.js. So I hope you enjoyed watching the video, and don't forget to subscribe, like and share the video with your friends. So that's all, and see you in the next video.